Before we go any further, I want to go ahead and throw my disclaimer out now. I am not a barber. I'm just a man who decided he wanted to save some money and start cutting my own hair and my son's hair. So this is for all you beginners or people that, maybe want to learn how to fade somebody up. I'll be using my Wahl Designer clippers and also my Wahl Peanut trimmer. I got these as a combo pack for like $80 at Sally's. They're not the best clippers in the world, but also they're not the worst ones. I had some $10 ones. They didn't even adjust or anything. I'm not going to go into that. Realistically, any clippers would do, even if you had the little cheap $10 ones. But I mean, it's like anything in life. You get what you pay for, and you have to put a whole lot more work into it. Now that we got all the preliminary stuff out the way, let's get started. All right, the first thing I like to do whenever cutting hair is I like to establish that line. To me, I liken it to building a house. You start with that foundation. The line around the head is the foundation. Without getting all super technical and everything, there's pretty much 3 different types of fades. You have the high fade, which is like the military high and tight. You have a medium, which is what I'm giving my son today. Then you also have that low fade, which is down around the bottom of the hairline, but it's still a fade nonetheless. I said all that to say this. Wherever you start your line, that's where your fade's gonna start. So if you start at the top of your head, guess what? You're gonna be looking like somebody fresh out of boot camp. All right. And if you start low, you got a lot more room to work with. So once you figured out what type of fade you want to do, just start with that foundation. Work that line, start it from one side of the head and go all the way around to the other side. The key here is to make sure both sides are even. So what you might want to do is stand in the front of the person once you made the line and make sure both sides, from the left and the right side of the head, that the line is even. You don't want it lopsided because your fade's going to come out lopsided. With my head, when I'm fading, I like to keep it a straight line all the way around. Now with my son's, I like the sides to start off, and then I like it to droop down around the back of his head and then bring it back up to the other side to make sure the sides are even. Now it's just a matter of preference. You do it any way that you want to, but like I said, with mine, I like it straight. His, I like it to droop down. Now this makes absolutely no sense to me, but for whatever reason, when I'm cutting my hair, I can establish that line pretty quickly. But when I'm doing my son's head, as you can see, I constantly have to keep going from side to side all the way around his head and keep adjusting the line until I get it straight. I don't know why. Maybe I got a cocked eye and don't know it or something, but it's hard for me to establish the line. But once I get it, I get it. And that's why it's always good to start, with the line lower than where you actually want it. Because if you like me, you might have to play with the line a little bit and take it up higher and higher and higher. And you don't want it too high because then you're just going to be looking silly. Now look at that. We got our foundation established. Now it's time to take this haircut to the next level. No, seriously, you're going to take it to the next level. I got number 1 guards, and I'm simply just going to start from where I got my foundation established and just cut up about an inch or so from where I originally established my line. Up to this point in the tutorial, I haven't mentioned anything about, how low I have my blades or anything. So I'm going to call that thingy on the side of the clippers, I'm going to call it my blade adjuster. I don't even know if that's right, but that's what I'm going to call it. Pretty much, simply put, if you have your blades facing you, if you push it all the way to the back, which is away from you, the blade is going to go extend as far as it can. If you pull it in toward you, then the blade is going to go down low and it's going to get you that more skin tight type of cut. Your hair will be a lot lower. I consider the blade adjuster very useful for when you actually start blending your fade, but so far all I've done is I had the blade extended out as far as I can, meaning I had the blade adjuster pushed as far away from me as I could get it. If you got them cheap clippers, you're not going to be able to use the blade adjuster, but you can still achieve a fade with it. Like I said, that's what I originally started off with. You just got to be a little bit more delicate and very cautious and have some patience, because you sure will mess somebody's head up. Since this cut was taken to the next level, your skill set is going to have to go to the next level. We're going to introduce something I call the pull away. Now, I guarantee if you go to barber school or something, They are not going to call it this, but this is what I'm calling it. You watch my tutorial, okay? To accomplish the pull away technique, you must put the clippers all the way on the person's head. You're going to begin to go up however high you want to. Now, instead of just going straight up and making another defined line, what I want you to do is pull away as you're stroking it up. So it's simply a pulling up, clippers down on the head, pull it up, pull away. Clippers on the head, pull it up, pull away. Once you got that technique down, you'll be able to use that pretty much for the rest of the haircut. The key to fading is just being patient, making sure each step you get it to where you want it before you move to that next step. So establish this layer, make sure it's the right length all the way around, play with it, just keep cutting it. Now this layer process might take you some time, doesn't matter, you're gonna get better, keep working at it. But if you're paying attention to this tutorial, you would notice that all the hair below the foundation line I took completely off. So what I did is I took the guards off and I brought my blade adjuster in toward me, meaning the blade went down as low as it could go, and I pretty much made all the hair below that line skin tight. I took all the hair off. Don't ask me why I didn't do this in the beginning. I normally do, but you know how it is. I'm doing a tutorial and, you know, acting all brand new because the camera's rolling and everything. So yeah, save yourself some time and a little bit of trouble. Do that in the beginning. We are finally getting down to the nitty gritty. We are fading. We're going to be blending this, all right? First things first, we're going to erase that foundation line. You do this by taking the guard off, then you're going to do the blade adjuster, push it away from you, meaning the blade is going to come up, and then all you're going to simply do, utilizing that pull away technique, you're barely going to hit the edge of that line. You don't want to take it up. Okay, you don't want to go high like an inch high or anything like we were doing earlier with the layers. All you simply want to do is just hit that foundation line. Don't really need to go much higher than it. Just keep hitting that, teasing it, and you'll see it start to fade away. Now, I can only get you so far, and then you, Grasshopper, have to snatch the stone from my hand. So this is where you have to be wise and utilize that blade adjuster to the best of your ability and make that line go away. Now we moving on up. We finna hit them layers. This is how you blend the layers. You have two ways you can go about this. Option one, which is my least favorite, you can use the guards and the blade adjuster to go ahead and remove those lines at the layers. Or you could be like a true layer player, like those guys in the barbershops and on movies, and you can whip out your comb. Whip it out. Even if you don't know what you're doing. Don't nobody know. You still look like you know what you're doing. Whip the comb out, comb up against the hair, and let the strands flow through the teeth of the comb. Then you're going to take that beard and mustache trimmer that you got. Or if you don't got that, just use the regular clippers. Take it down to the lowest setting, and then just go ahead and skim it right across the comb. I really can't break it down any more technically than what I just did, even though that wasn't technical, because this is just something that you're just going to have to learn. I don't know how to teach that, but you just pretty much going to blend it. Keep going till it looks good. Remember, fading, man, I thought I really had something like profound to say, but fading, it just takes time. That's really, it takes time, okay? Until you get it down, it's going to take you some time. So spend some time and blend those layers. Grab your beard and mustache trimmer and let's get started on this edge up. Now, what you really want to do first is you kind of want to survey the area, okay? Know where you're going to go with that thing. You can't just blindly just jump into it and try to fix it later. You can't, because remember, this is crucial, okay? This is crucial. This is life-changing right here. So take that bearded mustache trimmer, make a straight line right there in the center of the head. Pull it down as if you're going toward the eyebrow. But don't be dumb and go to the eyebrows, man. Come on. Now, all you're going to do is lift that thing up and do the same thing to the left or to the right of what you just did. The edge up was all fun and games until we get to them corners, baby. Corners, they're really not that complicated. You can overcomplicate them, but they're not that complicated. All you're simply doing, it took me a while to figure this out. On the corners, that's where you actually get your arch. Envision your edge up as a smile. You know, whenever you draw, let's say a sun, and you put a smiley face in it, what's the highest points on the mouth, on the actual smile? It's the corners, right? So that's the same thing you're going to do with this hairline. It's going to start low in the center and curve itself around. Then when you hit those points up top, you're going to have to arch those things up. Once you got those points nice and arched, all you're simply going to do is make a straight line going down the sides, and bam, you got your edge up. What I like to do is I like to make an angle, so my line, it'll still be a straight line, but I'd angle it in as if I'm going toward the eyebrow. Then do the same thing to the other side. Eyeball it a little bit, do whatever touch-ups you need to do, and you got your edge up. This is probably the part I have the biggest problem with whenever I cut hair. After I do the edge up, it reveals that I didn't quite fade the sides at the front of the head, you know, where the edge up is. I didn't fade those sides properly. And so what I usually have to do is go back and end up redoing the process just to those front areas. Sometimes it comes out spot on mic, and other times it's like, man, I should have just left it alone. But hopefully with your endeavors, you won't have that problem. Maybe you'll figure something out earlier in the process that would alleviate that. But as for me, right now, in my 4 months worth of cutting hair, this is where I'm at. After the edge up, I usually have to go back and retouch those fronts. Then pretty much the rest is history, man. You just go around touching up areas that you might have missed. You might need a little bit more work, and then call it a day. Give him a check. So there you have it, people. Finished product. I faded his head, and you can do it too. Thank you for watching this long old tutorial. Please hit the subscribe button and also check out my other channel, Explosive Videos. That's where I'm bringing the funny with my comedy videos. Make sure you subscribe to both. I appreciate you guys watching, and stay tuned. I'm gonna have a self fade tutorial coming up, and hopefully that one ain't gonna be this long.